lifetime contract.
Hello cartoon lovers, and welcome back to Facts Beyond, your favorite entertainment channel. Let's be real, the regular show is anything but regular. You never know what you're going to get with each episode, and that's exactly why we love it. It's chaotic, weird, and hilarious. Whether you're a kid or an adult, there's something for everyone. But have you ever stopped to think that maybe the show's humor goes a bit deeper? I mean, sure, the formula is always the same. Mordecai and Rigby face some tiny everyday problem, then boom, something completely bonkers happens. Like, remember that first episode? They get an old couch, simple, right? But then, they can't decide who keeps it, so they play rock, paper, scissors, and suddenly they've summoned a monster that's out to eat their couch. Yeah, random, right? But what if this randomness isn't so random after all? At first glance, the regular show looks like pure randomness, without any deeper message or moral. But what if there's more going on? What if we're missing something beneath the surface? We usually follow Mordecai and Rigby through their wild adventures, right? But what if it's not that simple? What if it's really just about Rigby? Could Mordecai and the rest of the gang be figments of his imagination? I know, it sounds nuts. But before I dive deeper into that theory, let's touch on something a bit more obvious. A popular idea floating around is that Mordecai and Rigby are actually alcoholics. I mean, think about it. Every time they're seen drinking soda, could it be a subtle way of referencing beer? But it's not just soda. What if the whole park is wrapped up in this supposed addiction? Think about it. Mordecai and Rigby may be the ones constantly sipping sodas, but everyone's got their thing. And then there's this whole wings deal. Sounds weird, right? But there's a theory that wings in the show are actually a symbol for something much stronger, like hard liquor. Don't believe me? Well, check this. There are scenes where characters say stuff like,
Well, sometimes people do things they regret on a belly full of wings.
Brought us some wings to help us celebrate. Sorry, Muscle Man, not this time.
Come on, it's only one wing.
Well...
sound familiar? That's pretty much the language people use when talking about drinking. So, is the regular show really all about wings and soda? Or is it something else entirely? Alright, here's where things get even more wild. What if, and hear me out, none of the other characters actually exist? Yeah, what if Mordecai, Benson, Muscle Man, and all the rest are just parts of Rigby's mind? Sounds bonkers, but think about it. Rigby clearly struggles the most in the show, and many fans believe he's dealing with some deep-rooted issues like addiction. Dissociation is common with addicts, and Rigby's brain might be crafting these characters as different sides of himself. Maybe the regular show is really just Rigby's inner struggle, with each character symbolizing a part of his personality. Maybe Mordecai is the responsible version of himself that he wants to be. Benson, his pent-up rage. Muscle Man, his self-consciousness. It's all a metaphor for him coming to terms with his problems in the only way he knows how, through his imagination. Let's break down what each character might represent if they're all just figments of Rigby's mind. Rigby's a raccoon, short, reckless, and immature. That's how he sees himself, right? He's constantly messing things up, acting impulsively. But then, there's Mordecai, the taller, more level-headed friend. Maybe Mordecai's who Rigby wants to be. Someone who's got it all together but can still be fun and relaxed. Now Benson, he's always mad at Rigby. Maybe that's just Rigby's own frustration with himself, manifesting as a character who yells and gets angry all the time. Muscle Man, he's how Rigby thinks the world sees him. Obnoxious, loud, and let's be honest, not super attractive. Skips though. Skips is wise and calm, a guy who's been through it all. Could he represent the wisdom Rigby's desperate to gain? Each character reflects something Rigby's battling with internally, creating this exaggerated world where his emotions run wild. If we dig into Rigby's possible struggles, his dissociation starts making more sense. People dealing with addiction often cope by projecting parts of themselves onto different characters, which seems to be happening here. None of the characters in the regular show are human. Mordecai's a blue jay. Benson's a gumball machine. Skips is an immortal yeti. Why? Because these traits Rigby's dealing with, whether it's anger, wisdom, or insecurity, are things he doesn't want to admit about himself. They're exaggerated and externalized, making it easier for him to disconnect from them. Muscle Man, for example, could represent Rigby's shame, this version of himself that he believes society sees as loud and obnoxious. By giving them non-human forms, Rigby can keep a safe distance from confronting his real emotions. It's a classic defense mechanism, wrapped in a surreal, animated world. Now let's talk about Rigby's anxiety, because that might just be the key to the show's chaotic vibe. Ever notice how each episode starts off pretty chill, but then things quickly spiral into absolute madness? That's not just random storytelling. It's a reflection of Rigby's anxiety. He's the kind of guy who blows things out of proportion. In his mind, a tiny issue turns into an all-out catastrophe. Think about it. An old couch becomes a monster. This isn't just funny, it's how people with anxiety often feel. Their minds exaggerate small problems into overwhelming crises, and that's exactly how every episode plays out. The wild, over-the-top situations are probably how Rigby's anxious brain experiences the world. To us it's hilarious, but to him it's terrifying. And let's not forget the series finale. It's where everything comes together. The entire park crew finally overcomes their personal flaws, the things that have defined them throughout the show. To me, this symbolizes Rigby's journey towards self-acceptance and overcoming his issues. By the end, maybe Rigby has started to get a grip on his life. The show subtly suggests that he's making peace with his inner demons and moving past them. And yeah, I know what you're thinking. This is way too deep for a kid's cartoon, but guess what? The regular show was actually pitched to Adult Swim originally. It was never meant to be all rainbows and sunshine. With themes like addiction, anxiety, and depression, it would have fit perfectly on a more mature platform like Adult Swim. So yeah, maybe this crazy theory isn't so far-fetched after all. So what do you think? Is there a method to the madness that is the regular show? Or am I just overanalyzing a hilarious, chaotic cartoon? You could look at this show from a million different angles: Rigby's anxiety, dissociation, addiction. But the real question is, which theory feels right to you? Or maybe it's just a fun kids show after all, who knows? But do you honestly believe none of this could be true? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you've got a theory I didn't mention, drop it. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives and wild theories.